start with this, which is we captured the 100 years of International Women's Day. Women from North and West Belfast worked together with this artist, Rita Moore, and came up with this mural, which was on the Shankill Road for a while and is now on the peace wall. It's an interpretive piece, and the women spoke about a lot of things, and Rita then put that on the mural. The rest of the day with a lot of really good things. There was a lot of drumming, music, things for the kids, things for older people. And that night we had a band called Kintra, and we filled a Spectrum Centre, and this band actually does Irish music and Scottish music, and both Scottish and Irish dance. We were always called the Shankill Women's Centre, but whenever we were first formed, we were down in a block, a housing executive block, just down the road, which was called the Hummingbird. When females prematurely quit, it's not because they're short of wit, but because they're told it can't be done, defeats the cause before it's won. That always seems to be the plight, until one day a bird in flight raised a flag and spread the word and immortalised the hummingbird. This is an interpretation of the hummingbird, which was done by both women from North and West Belfast, from both sides of the community. And they all done a bit of it, and the artists took it away and fused it together. The reason why the hummingbird was called the hummingbird, and coming from the poem, it's because the hummingbird apparently, according to scientists, shouldn't be able to fly, but it does. And what we were trying to say at that time to women, you can fly and you can do the things that society tells you can't do, and we done it within the hummingbird. Everything that we do in the centre is all cross community. In fact, any woman at all is welcome. This is our education project, which ranges from basic English and Maths right through to Open University, GCSE English and Maths, classroom level 3. We took women from level 1, 2 and 3. The whole underpinning of the education is progression. So when women come in, we like to move them on to do more and more. Somebody comes in, there's one-off things like SIA training, which they come in for one day and they can go and get a job in construction. The thing that women bring up to us that is needed, we would try our best to meet that need. This is my MBE, and this is some of the things that we've been gifted throughout the years. We've worked, that's the Justice and Community Awards, and we've been gifted some stuff from other women's groups, particularly in the Republic of Ireland, that we have worked with. The project that I'm going to tell you about now is called Changemakers, and it's a very new project. It started in January. We could do personal development in here and continue to do that, but we wanted to up the ante a bit. And from Brexit, we've heard a lot of women who don't seem to understand politics. So we got together and we came up with Changemakers, which the Department of Foreign Affairs is funding. We have somebody running that project now, and they're going to take them through things like how the Assembly works, how voting works, how Belfast City Council works. This has been a very popular course. There has been really good recruitment for it, and we have a waiting list. This is a pilot, and it'll be interesting to see how that goes. We hang some bits of art, and this was donated to myself from a lady called Anne Carr. Anne's brother had never painted in his life, and he had a stroke, and he started to paint, and this is one of his beautiful paintings. So Anne presented this to himself and the Women's Centre, and it's up here. So we like to put some nice stuff in the place with stories behind them. A therapy room. The table isn't up at the moment. However, we work mainly with the Ashton Centre in a joint project whereby women who go through counselling and go through their Bridge of Hope programme can come over here and have a bit of counselling and have some therapy work done as well. The next thing is the Greater North Belfast Women's Network. This is women from North and West Belfast, and they come together to address issues which concern them and any issues that are topical of the day. They've done things like an intergenerational study to Dublin. They get involved in International Women's Day. We've done an infant loss piece, and that stemmed from a lot of women coming in and looking for help in and around infant loss, and they have a group together and they work together with an artist and came up with this sculpture which will go into our new building, and that group have stayed together to support each other from that's been done. There is a course called Epilogues that is done throughout this project as well, which is a very hard-hitting project, and it just has changed people's lives. That's what I have been told from them. Our childcare notice board have some lovely photos of our childcare. Parents' concerns, complaints, protection officers, all these things that we do under health and safety regulations, and I'll show you the childcare in just a few minutes. Health and Wellbeing project, which has organically grew into older women coming in and doing crafts like knitting, crocheting, painting of ceramics. But it is to do with social isolation, and that's become much more important over the COVID period and lockdown. Nutrition and keeping fit and looking after their bodies, and particularly mental health after COVID and after the lockdown. It's just social interaction for people to meet up and talk to each other, which is really important. This is our Empowering Young Women's project. This is cohorts of 10 young women together in groups, and they all have for the want of better words, a caseworker. And they go through things with us like OCN, employment, sign language, Open University, driving lessons, photography. But they do life skills, money management, employees. So they have a 10-month programme, and after that 10 months they have an incentive. And the incentive is something that they're going to progress to do. We have bought books for young women going to Queen's. We paid for a nail course for a young woman to do nails, and she now works in a salon. As long as they do the 10-month with us and they attend regular and participate in the programmes, they can get that incentive. Moulded in with this programme as well is our Baby Think It Over, which is throughout the life skills programme. And we have dolls which act like babies. After they go through that programme, they take the baby home. The baby is set by a computer to cry like a normal baby, needs a snappy change, needs burped, needs fed, needs comforted, and we can tell by a computer printout how that baby's been treated when it's brought back. It can be quite fun, that one. We are just in the back of this building, so we have what I showed you was a therapy room. This is another small training room, which small classes can happen in, or meetings and things like that. So we haven't got a lot of room, and we do work out of the building quite a bit. Down here we have a doorway which leads us up to 4 offices up the stairs. We had to build these on to get more room in here, but that's mainly people's offices, so I won't go up there. This is our creche. Again, because of COVID restrictions, we've stopped taking people into the creche, but this houses babies right up until pre-nursery school. This is another new programme here, which is our volunteering project. We've always had women come in here who are very keen to volunteer. However, we never actually put it into a project, but now we've been able, through Piece 4 money, to have a volunteer coordinator. And it's great because she's going to be taking them through all this training, and hopefully they will either be with our staff here and with our staff in the new build when we get to the new build, or they will go out into the community and volunteer in the community. And that's what we're all about. We're all about progression in one way or another. Where I'm taking you into now is the drop-in, and this is where women can sit and have a cup of coffee and a wee chat. The classes, I'll take you through the big classroom in a minute. The classroom comes out here, and they have their breaks here, and the staff have their breaks here as well. So this is quite a hub of the centre. It's quiet at the minute because we're filming, and please excuse some of the things that we've done because it's hard to keep the place from not being busy, but we're trying to be quiet today so that we can get this done. This is another small room, which we call the meeting room. And the young women use it when they're having small groups and small group talks and small conversations between people, if it's only 2 or 3 people. Sometimes it can be squashed with about 10 people, but we manage that. what we call the big classroom, and this is where a lot of the classes go on, especially when there is classes like sewing or ceramics where they need space between the chairs. This room acts as the big room, as we call it, for stuff like that, GCSE classes. Any of the classes go on in here, but again, it's not enough room for everything that I've just told you that we do. Out in the drop-in we have a kitchen, and in the kitchen area women have free tea and coffee, and they can make themselves a bit of toast or something to eat. So we also have this nowadays as one of the warm spaces in terms of the cost of living, and what we do is invite women in and tell women to come in, have a cup of tea and talk, to save on their heating and to get together and make sure they're good out of their houses. So I started off saying that we haven't got room, and what I'm going to show you now is a video of our new build, which is halfway built, but I'm going to show you a video of a walkthrough of what that new build is going to be like.